Hi, I'm Liu and welcome to School.me. In this tutorial, we'll be going over different ways of declaring your variable, which is the use of var, let, or const, and I'll be telling you the difference between the three of them. Alright guys, at the end of this tutorial, if you think the video was helpful, please hit the like button, and if you have anything to say or any questions, just leave a comment, and if you're new, please consider subscribing for more updates. Alright, the first difference between these three is the var variable can be redeclared and updated, whereas the let variable cannot be redeclared but can actually be updated. But the const can neither be redeclared or updated. So I'll move to my test editor and show you what I mean. Now, when I declare a variable here, let's say x equal to 50. Now, when I save this and go to my browser, you'll notice that, and reload this page, you'll notice my answer is 50. Now, I can go back here and redeclare this variable. Let's say I pick a number and let's say I pick another number being 70. Now when I save this and go back to my browser and reload, you'll notice that my new answer is going to be the second one. So I've redeclared this variable. Now when I go back and change this to let and change this to let, you'll notice that I'm going to have an error because the let variable cannot be redeclared. Now you can see there is an error, but it can actually be updated. So when I remove this x, that is what it means to update this. Now when I save and go back to my browser and reload, you'll notice that the value has been updated. So that's the difference between the var and let. Now when I change this to const, and put a const here, so when I declare a variable using the const, when I save and go back to my browser, you can notice the values there. Now when I go back and redeclare this and redeclare and save, when I go back, you'll notice it's going to give an error. And also when I go back and update this and save, now when I go back to my browser also and reload, it's still going to give an error. So that's the first difference between the three of them. Alright, the second difference is something called global scope and local scope. Now by global scope, I mean when you declare your variables outside your block, and by local scope, I mean declaring your variables within your code block. So when I declare a variable at the global scope that's outside the code block and redeclare this variable in the code block, now when I save this and go to my browser, notice that the var variable is going to redeclare. It's going to leave this one at the global scope and give me the one in the block scope. So when I save this and go to my browser and reload, you'll notice the answer is true. Now that's because you can actually declare a variable using var at the global scope and redeclare it in the block code and it will work. Now when I change this to let, When I change this to let and save, when I go back to my code and reload, you'll notice it's going to say false. Now the reason is, when you declare using the let variable at the global scope, when you redeclare at the local scope or the in your block scope, it will not work. So that's why it gave me false while the var variable gave true. That's the different another difference between them. So let me try this with const, and I'm sure it's going to. Alright, so when I save and go back to my browser and reload, you can see it also gives false. So this does not work for let and. Alright, the third difference is with this console.log. Notice that here I have val x equal to 60. Now when I go to my browser and reload this, you can see I have 60. Now when I put let here and save, when I also go to my browser and reload, you'll see I have the same value, and same goes for const. Now when I go back and reload, you'll see it's still the same. Now but watch what happens when I move this console.log and put it outside my code block. Now when I put my val here using the val, when I save and go back to my browser, notice the answer is when I reload, you notice the answer is still 60. Now but when I change this to let and save, when I go back to my browser and reload, you'll notice that it's going to give an error, and same for const. So when I save this and also go back to my browser and reload, you'll see it's also outputting an error. So these are the three basic difference between the three of them. Another reason is the var variable is actually function scoped, while the const and the let are not. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, and don't forget to subscribe.